Tim, should we tell the listeners how to join the Golf Week Amateur Tour?
Yes, of course. We should probably do it now before we forget, though.
I agree. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.
And remember, this podcast can be found on all the major platforms. So make sure you like, download, and share it with all your friends and family.
Chris, that's a great idea. Now, on to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golf Week Amateur Tour, the podcast. Talking about all things Golf Week Amateur Tour, including interviews with tour directors, players, and course pros. Now, here are your hosts, Atlanta Tour Director Tim Newman and El Paso Las Cruces Director Chris Rocha.
Welcome back, Chris. You know, we've got less than 30 days to National Championship. We're in the middle of voting for the shirt contest, which is fun. And we got tours wrapping up their season. A lot of tours wrapped up this past weekend, and everybody else is wrapping up this coming weekend.
Yeah, it's been something that we've been eyeing for a while, the end of the season. It's here, and now I just can't wait to get over there to Nationals and see everybody and have a good time. I have one event left, our tour final. But after that, it's going to be, I think, a quick turnaround before we get to Nationals.
Yeah, it's going to be real quick. I've got my our final tournament comes this weekend as well. You know, get that final 2-day in, and you get we get about maybe 2 or 3 weeks in between, but there's a lot that has to be done between now and when everybody starts showing up. Oh yeah.
And I mean, like you said, the shirt contest, we got to it, Tim. We made it to the pick'ems. We were worried for a while there at the beginning, but we made it. We got our 8 players, and I know our guest is also one of them. And it's fun to see you scrolling through Facebook and seeing them all trying to get votes.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead and bring Roger in. Roger, welcome back. You made the final 8, and as we're recording this, you still got a couple days left of voting in the first round. But when this episode goes live, we'll have already started voting for the second round. In the first round, you've got to get you need some help.
I need to get my campaign manager on this because I'm getting trounced right now by somebody's brother. Yes, my Lyle did send out a note. Hey guys, you got to give Roger some props. But no, I'm so far behind. I don't know. I might have to offer some incentives. But, yeah, I'm not counting on that for my tour championship payoff.
Roger, if it makes you feel any better, I haven't done any voting, so
okay.
Even though I'd want to, I can't vote for him.
So you can go for the underdog, Roger. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Maybe I need to get a new wardrobe manager too for next year, at least get a better shirt.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that's been fun looking at that, and it's been fun for the whole season. Seeing some of the shirts that folks came up with.
Yeah, there's some pretty creative shirts out there. I don't want to start naming people off because they may not even make the second round, because as of right now, the number 1 seed's looks like he's going to be upset.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Yeah.
It's very interesting to see how this has turned out. I mean, everyone, trust me, I've heard nonstop how he was the number 1 seed. And how Drake was disappointed to get the 8 seed, which I love to hear, because I mean that's what this is all about. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the people, and we're gonna find out how that goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when this airs, the second round will have already started voting. So So we'll know how it turns out by then. But Roger, as we wind down the season, obviously we wanted to have you back on and go over some rules as we head into the national championship. So what do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so there's been a video going around, and I know Chris had posted this somewhere or sent it to me about what they call the 2x2 rule. Chris, you remember sending that video?
I do, yes.
Yeah. So it's called the 2x2 rule because they're thinking, and the video that you'd sent describes one thing, but it's really about something else. So this is about immovable obstructions, and they call that abnormal course conditions in the rules, Rule 16. But it's really about like sprinkler heads by the putting green, whether if they're on your line of play, do you get relief from them? Mm-hmm. And in the video, they showed how basically not to do it. So there's a couple of things about that. The actual sprinkler head has to be within 2 club lengths of the putting green itself. And then your ball has to be within 2 club lengths of that sprinkler head also. And it has to be on your line of play. Uh-huh. And think about if your ball's on the sprinkler head, it's really something else that comes into effect. Uh-huh. And that's the abnormal course conditions. That means the sprinkler head is interfering with your stance or your swing. And under the regular set of rules, you get relief for a abnormal course condition. You find the closest point of relief, and then you get 1 club length. But let's say on your line of play, that sprinkler head is right there, but it has no effect on your swing or your stance. And people are thinking, a lot of times, this comes up pretty often, they're thinking, well, I get relief, don't I? It's on my line of play. And under the normal, just the regular rules of golf, you do not get relief. That's not a regular rule. It's a local rule. And like I've always said in the past, local rules, there's so many of them. And unless somebody tells me that there's a local rule in effect, then I would rule, no, you don't get relief. But there is a local rule, and it's local rule 5F5-1. Not that there'll be a quiz on that later. And that is if the sprinkler head is within 2 club lengths of the green and your ball is also within 2 club lengths of that sprinkler head and it's on your line of play, then you get relief from that. But you just got to remember that that's a local rule. It's not just automatic. And that's the biggest thing, that guys automatically think they get relief and they don't, because it's not a local rule. And I'm honestly, I don't know on our tour. I mean, some tours may play that rule, and other tours, regions. I'm not sure what you guys do on your tour, if you have that as a rule.
No, I hope other tours don't do it, but we don't.
Yeah. So it does come up, and it's the line of play. And you remember, that's pretty, there's not a whole lot of area there when you talk about that. That's within 2 club lengths. So if it's a sprinkler head on your line of play, out when you're pitching, you're not going to get relief for that. It's on your line of play. And the reason that is instituted is because if it's that close to the putting green, a lot of times the choices, a player will choose to putt the ball. And if you think if a sprinkler head is on that line, then that's definitely going to affect being able to putt it. So that's kind of why they put that rule into effect. And what you do there, when they were talking about 2x2, that the 2 is the within 2 club lengths of the putting green, and then your ball within that 2 club lengths. Not 2 club lengths away do you get to drop. That's what that video was showing. You again find your closest point of release, and then you drop your ball, you drop your ball from that spot, and that's your 2x2 rule. It's not 2 club lengths away. You don't drop 2 club lengths away. Unless for some odd reasons 2 club lengths is the closest point of relief, then yes. But that's normally not the case. So right. That's the 2x2 rule. Other than that one, I really just wanted to talk a little bit about things golfers can do in the off season, or things they shouldn't do also in the off season. I've mentioned to you guys that the best the starting point, if you want to learn a little bit about the rules, is to download the USGA Rules of Golf app. I think every golfer on our tour should have that. Almost ought to be a what do you call it? A qualification of joining the Golf Week tour. Load that app to your phone. Maybe you guys can. It's free. It's easy. There's there's the app, and then there's an expert section which gives all the clarifications and all that stuff. And it's downloadable on all your phones, and it's pretty easy to use. It has all the rules. It has clarifications. And it pops up fast. There's a search bar in it, so like if you're not exactly sure, a couple of words in, and it'll come back with what they think you might be asking about. So that's the USGA Rules of Golf app. And on the opposite side of that, believe it or not, there's what internet trolls are, or people that just try to cause trouble. I'll put it that way. There's this one guy, and it's been going around, and he's called, maybe you guys could look it up, or anybody listening, he's called the Footy Golfer. And I think he came up with that name, like using a foot wedge to get your ball out of the woods or something, give yourself free. Yeah. So he posts videos, and the thing about it is he's so serious. And if somebody just came across him, he posts these videos and it looks legitimate, but the rules that he placed that he says are totally, they're not within the rules at all. Like he'll say, do you know if you're in a penalty area and the grass is long, if it's longer than, say, your knee length, you get a free drop out of that penalty area, and you don't even have to drop the ball. You can place it. And that is like one that he did recently, but he's so serious about it. And then he just like ends the video, and he's like, he looks like a normal guy. And then you just read all the comments, and everybody's like, you don't know what the F you're talking about. This is not true. Why would you post it? And then he has lots of these. So that's the other thing. So you got to be careful what you see on the internet is what I'm saying.
Yes, you do.
And then, on the flip side, there's tons of these out there, but there's Facebook chat groups about the rules of golf. One's called the Golf Rules Samaritan, and that's probably the highest level. It has officials that are USGA that I've been to the workshops, and the guys that make the comments, they are the top of the top. And then there's one just called Golf Rules. There's a bunch of them out there. And the only problem with them is I go on them occasionally when I'm kind of like, I guess when I'm bored, golf nerd than I am, golf rules nerd than I am. But somebody will ask a question, and it'll be a pretty simple question with a pretty simple answer. But people start going down rabbit holes. Like they twist the question a little bit, and you might learn something, but you never, like, if you start reading these things, you'll get confused because there'll be a simple answer to a question, but then there'll be 75 or 80 replies because people will throw in things about local rules, or they'll throw in things about what about this or what about that. So what I really like to do is use that USGA website and use those videos that, I forget the guy, the guy who does the great videos from the USGA. I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me, but his little short videos are so good. They really describe things the right way. Uh-huh. And you can go to just the regular old USGA website, and there are lots of videos that are very easy to understand and very easy to learn a little bit about the rules.
And for us and what we do, that's pretty much really what we need the players to do, to understand the basics. And obviously, if there's going to be some more technical or some more complicated issues, then that's where you play the two balls and getting rulings and other people involved comes into play. But knowing the basic stuff is really what we need our players to do.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned about the playing two balls. That comes up a lot in these chat groups. They say, people don't do that enough, and they really should. because that, play 2 balls and, yes, it's going to take a little extra time, but that's probably the right thing to do. The only other thing, like rules wise, like our tour, we have a really nice 3-day match. It's not what we used to call the Lava Cup. We're doing something else. So learning a little bit about match play in the off season is a fun thing to do too, because match play has its own set of rules. There are some of them, that are unique only to match play. And it's good to know those, because those match play events are so great and so many tours are doing them. And we don't discuss those that much because we don't play that on our tour. We do it outside, but it's really good to know. And it's nice when you get to watch, the President's Cup is coming up soon. So it's good to know, like, somebody just casual watcher might watch, like, why didn't he have to putt that one? And they don't realize, okay, you're allowed to concede putts or whatever it might be. So, nice to learn about match play a little bit, if you don't know about it.
Yeah.
Really, that was it for that I was thinking about towards the end of the year here. Just, learning the USGA rules website, download that app, and it'll really put you in a good place when you want to learn a little bit more about the rules.
Yeah. Let me just bring up a couple other, if you don't mind, Roger. With the Tour Championship that happened back at East Lake a few weeks ago, there were a couple of strange things that the committee did with making, playing the ball out of one fairway actually out of bounds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
So the course can have internal out of bounds. So what they did, as I recall, they had I think they said it was really for spectator safety. They said, what they declared was it was like the edge of a fairway. Anything past that was internal out of bounds, I think, as I recall. And a committee has a lot of options. Like, they can set many things, and the committee is the committee. They're the ones that set these rules. And I remember seeing about the out of bounds there, but on some courses, you could hit it all the way across the fairway and you'd still be in bounds. But as I recall, I think what they did was say they didn't want players to be, they were basically taking a shortcut. So they didn't want players to be taking a shortcut, like it was, let's say, a dog leg. And you could go, if you went the normal route of the course, you'd hit it out to the fairway, then turn right and hit it to the green. But they said, they didn't want players just driving it right through the turn or whatever. So they made an internal out of bounds where if you put it there, you're going to be penalty. You're going to be going out of bounds. That's how I recall it. And on my course, there's one of the courses I play, there's a sign right off the tee box. Players are not allowed to cut across this lake for fear, because there's a putting green to the right of the putting green of the hole that we're playing. And they're afraid people are going to get hit on this other putting green. So they make it a penalty that you can't cut across this lake, basically. You have to hit straight to the fairway. And so then that actually came up in one of these golf rules chats. Well, how do you avoid that? And it came up that a lot of that has to do with the design of the course. Like, why did they make it so that you could drive over that? And the suggestions were, well, why don't they put up a fence next to the tee box so you can't cut across? And a lot of courses don't want to do that for the aesthetics of it. Doesn't look good. Right. And then other courses were like, we put trees up there. We put a row of bushes, and that solved some of the problems. But like the course I'm at, they just put a sign up and said, you're not allowed to do it. So it's up to the player to, you police yourselves. So that's right. What I recall about that.
I think now with the talent that players have, being able to think of routes like that and driving it, I don't think they were expecting that when they built the courses. And now they have to put these new rules in to kind of help with the, like you said, the aesthetics of the course and the way it's supposed to be played. Exactly. Yes. That's exactly what this one was reminded me of. Yeah.
And then the other one was, so Heath Thagala called a penalty on himself because he thought he may have brushed the sand when he was in a sand trap. I thought that was kind of interesting because he wasn't even sure if he did it, but to play it safe, he called that penalty. It cost him 2 strokes, and it didn't cost him the tournament, but it did cost a couple spots in the money.
Yeah, and that's, it's up to the player to decide. It's, the onus is on the player, and kudos to him for doing that. I do remember seeing that, though, and other players, like, they never saw it, or that it was even hard to see, like, in the video or anything, or I don't even know if they had the video. Yeah, but he said he did. So, and who knows, but good on him if that was the case. The regular golfer is going to be like, wow, that's just like, I'd never call that on myself, but that is the rule. So, you can take it, you can hit it in the backswing, but not while you're setting up the ball or because it might, and the reason for that is they say it could improve your lie. If you put the sand down a little bit behind the ball, then it might be easier to hit the ball, that kind of thing. And so, right. A couple of pebbles of sand, though, it's just, wow, that was a tough one. Yeah. Yeah. It probably cost them with that kind of money they were playing for in that tournament. It probably was tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That was just a player calling it on himself.
Yeah. I mean, that's tough. That's tough to do.
Glad we're not playing for that big kind of, well, maybe we are at Nationals. How much are we playing for at Nationals? Hope everybody's honest down there.
Yeah, me too. We know that they are.
Yeah. Yes. Lyle set up a neat tournament this coming weekend. He set up a tournament just like that end of season tournament, the end of season tournament that the PGA Tour did. Our flight winners, they're starting at -10, and then they go to -8, -6, -5. So he's doing a 2-day tournament this coming weekend, just like that. And he's got some nice prize money signed up, and guys are pretty excited. It's we've never done that event before. So that's pretty exciting. And he's got a nice turnout for that one too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. The tour, I forget what the name of it he called it, but he's got at least 80 players coming out too.
Wow. So where are you in that field?
I didn't make I think I have to add strokes to my, I don't know how that is here. I didn't.
Roger, I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's funny about that. I text after my final round of the season. I said, or no, it wasn't the final. It was up going into the last tournament. I said to him, well, listen, I'm qualified to drop down a flight, and I hate to do it, but put me down a flight. He said, you can't. It's the last 3 I guess you can't in the last 3 tournaments of the season. So right. It said, you got to wait till next year to move down. It's like, okay, I know I'll move right back up again after I shoot a good score, but I was like, darn. Yeah. It's been a kind of a rough year on tour for me. Yeah.
Well, that happens, and there's always next year.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Roger, thanks so much for everything you do for us. This year has been great. And I look forward to seeing you in the winner's circle for the shirt contest.
There you go. I'm going to start sending out my incentives soon and get with my campaign manager. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate all the time you let me have on here.
All right, bud. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Bye now.
Tim, another successful interview with Roger. As golf keeps getting played, there's other rules that keep coming up that we have questions for, and I'm glad we have an expert in that field to have on the podcast. And I know at the regional, I had a lot of guys come and thank me for having somebody that knows the rules on as they listen, at least once a month. So it's great to have him back on here again.
Yeah. And, what a lot of people don't realize is, we have Roger on, once a month, but the interaction that we have with him when he's not on is a lot more. He is very freely giving of his time. We give him something and he'll go research it and come back with an answer, and really comes back with answers pretty quick with some of these things that we're asking him. And, some of them, it does require a little, it's not just cursory research. I mean, he's got to go dig around for some stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. But he knows where to go. And if you're listening and you don't have that app, I'd suggest go get it, because it has great information.
It really does, and it's so easy to use. And with one of the things that USGA did is they put in those diagrams, that are visual, so you don't necessarily. And I'm laughing as I'm saying this. You don't have to actually be able to read anymore. If you can look at a picture, it tells you, what the ruling is and where you're supposed to drop and what what you're actually supposed to do.
Right. The diagrams help a lot, and it's quick and easy and able to make the determination, especially for us directors after a round when we have, numerous scorecards getting turned in and things like that. It just makes it a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I tell our guys, you don't need me to make judgments about you. Just, I don't need you to do a whole lot of adding. When the scorecards come in, just put the what the number that you got on the hole. Don't add it up. I'm a public school guy too, so just don't worry about adding it up. Computer will do that for you.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. Anyway, so we've got another first time guest with us this week. It's JP Tassin from Louisiana South Tour. JP, welcome to the show, bud.
Hey, bud, how y'all doing? Thanks for having me, man.
We're doing great. Thanks for taking some time with us tonight. I know we kind of caught you at a bad time. You got some we don't want to give away, but you got some friends over, for your weekly gathering. So
that's right.
Take some time with us.
No, on Thursday nights, we got a group of friends that always get together. Some of the golf tour guys and a few other people, and we play a little cards, and one of us cook every other week. So it's a good Thursday night meal. You don't go home hungry. You might go home broke. You ain't going home hungry.
Hey, you know what? The next time I'm in town, I need to be invited to that because I'm all for a game of cards.
Chris says he likes
you can definitely do that. Yeah, we always bring a crowd. So yeah, you definitely be invited.
Well, that's great. So JP, you've been a member of the tour for 10, 11 years now, right? Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
Yeah. It's been about 11 years now. I've been running the tour for this will be my fourth year. So, I've been around the block and back as a player and as now as a tour director for sure. It makes it a little easier knowing all the guys beforehand. We play together when it's not a golf week event. On the weekends, they got a good 10, 12 of us that just go play and have a good time. So, it's definitely a great little thing to be a part of.
And you started off in the C flight, Chris. So Chris, JP is one of the guys that we really like to talk about. Starts in the C flight and he's moved all the way up to the A flight. Like to see him get to champ. Yeah, I've seen a few in the last scores. It's got a little bit of work to do, but making that jump from C flight to A flight is really what we like to see.
Yeah, it's first starting out in the tour. It's going to add a few strokes being out there with some competition with you and, playing by the rules totally. You don't get the old mulligan and the couple drop out your pocket balls that you and your buddies play with. But no, it's honestly the first event. I was pretty spooked about it, a little nervous and but I think on the first hole I learned about 6 different rules about golf before I got to the green, which with my my other competitive partners. And but everybody in the group, you know what I'm saying? It really was a helpful playing with those guys and kind of understanding competitive golf compared to just weekend golf, and to realize that, man, we're just all out here having a good time playing by the rules and, just to work your way up. So like I say, I know a lot of people on the tour because I've been through every flight except for D and champ. So, and I can work my way to either one just as quick. So, but no, it's like I go to nationals, I go anywhere. They're like, man, I remember playing you in C flight, whatever. You in A now? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trending back. Don't worry. I got one of those fluctuating handicaps from like a 6 to a 12. I'm not, there's no consistency.
There you go.
But we're going to hope that changes this year for nationals for sure.
Hey, you know what? I started in D and I'm already in B, and I've said it to Tim numerous times. I think I'm going to start next year in A, because once you once you move up, it kind of forces you to get better, or else you're going to be in a lot of trouble real quick.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about it is when you start moving up, you start playing with better competition to where tempo and everything else, you start seeing good golf shots. It makes you want to hit good golf shots.
Yep.
And it just kind of works its way out. And then you kind of get to that level to where you feel like you peak, but you can get a little more out of it. And that's what most of us do, but I've had a guy, matter of fact, that was started in D, and in 2 seasons, he's up in B. So, he's been moving quick.
That's awesome.
But he bought himself a simulator, man. He started putting them swings in after work.
There you go.
And he just started coming, man, every tournament. He was like, he hadn't won. He's the only guy I know that got bumped from D to C to B before he won a trophy.
Wow. You get bumped up without even winning. You go.
Yeah, he would come in. He'd come in second or third with a great score. Somebody would outshoot him that day just by a stroke or so. And then, man, it was just the luck of the draw. It was just against him.
Yeah.
And finally he came through, and he's like, man, when I told him the first time he got promoted from D flight, he's like, man, I can't go to C flight. I said, why, Sean? He said, I hadn't won a trophy in D flight yet. I said, well, unfortunately, that's not how it works. So work hard in C flight. And, man, he shot up through the ranks, like just putting in good scores. And, man, he's actually a pretty consistent golfer now.
I can only imagine the look on his face when you told him he was going to C to B without winning.
That's right.
Really,
that's exactly right.
We're having this conversation again.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, he lives down the road from me. So, I see him a good bit on his way home and stuff. And, man, he would stop by all the time and just give me a little hell about it. I was like, look, man, just the way it is. I said, friend or no friend, that's just the way this stuff works. I don't pull punches for nobody.
Yep. All right. So you got some pretty good sticks in the in your champ flight. Looking at your players, like Jacob Hamner, he's a minus 2.9.
Yeah, he's a little. He can play some golf, man. He don't lose his ball, and he's not the longest guy. But he's the most consistent guy.
Mm-hmm.
His ball's gonna be in the middle of the fairway and in the middle of the green, and then if he's feeling it and he starts ringing off some birdies, man, he could really shoot. He pretty much wins a good 90% of our champ flight tournaments. And, but yeah, he is a stick for sure. He is very, very straight with his ball. I don't care what club it is, pitching wedge, 7-iron, 4-iron, driver. It's going to be down the middle, maybe 10 yards, a little left or right. He don't lose his ball.
Well, that's one of the keys. Chris, how many champ flight guys have we talked to that says, control your shot, pick your spot, hit your spot, and you're going to be fine, right? And, when you can do that, and JP, if he doesn't hit the ball far, to me, that's when I talk to guys that, when they get bumped out, just like the guy we just talked about, got bumped from D to C, then C to B. Well, I don't hit it as far as everybody else. Okay, you may not hit as far as everybody else, but maybe you can putt better than they can. Yep. Maybe you can chip better than they can. It's about finding what works for you and what the strength of your game is, and you worry about that. Don't worry about how far you can hit it.
Yeah. Oh, right. He puts it out there, but he don't try to overswing. He puts it in the middle of the fairway. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it doesn't matter to him if he's hitting a 5-iron in or he's hitting a 7-iron in. Both of those clubs, he just all in his mind is it's a different trajectory.
Right.
He's gonna swing it the same. He's gonna hit it the same. So the iron's in his bag. Until you start getting into your short wee wedges, but the iron's in his bag. He plays them all the same, man. He's definitely consistent on hitting the center of the club face.
Hey, I'm a short hitter, and I believe it doesn't matter how far you hit it. Now, what I've started to do with my groups is how people bet on how many putts you do. I bet on how many fairways you're going to hit because I know I'm going to hit more than everybody else. So it's all about being consistent with what you can do.
A lot easier to hit the ball when there's not a chunk of grass laying between the face and the ball.
You still got to keep it straight, though. You still got to keep it straight.
Oh yeah, 100%. We just played Kashada and the Island back to back, which is notorious for the rough. And I'm gonna tell you what, if you get off in any of that, you might as well just punch it out. And so, yeah, I would much rather be down the middle, lose a little bit of distance than gain that 15, 20 yards and be in the rough left or right.
Absolutely. When I joined the club up in Pennsylvania before I moved down to Atlanta. We, had these weekend group games, and most of the guys that were playing were like 65, 70 years old, and they would beat everybody because they would just dink and dunk right on down 3 or 4 times and one putt, and walk away with their bogey, and we're spraying the ball all over the place. And that's where I really learned that, it doesn't really matter how far you hit it. You got to hit it straight, hit your spot, and don't lose your ball. Don't take a big number.
Well, that's the thing going to nationals. We don't play a lot of those courses here. We've got a few. That's kind of tight when you start getting a little bit towards Mississippi. But a lot of us, we're a lot of flat land. We don't have a lot of trees and a lot of courses. If we do, they're not. It's nothing like that. And so it's a big difference of just tuning your game to where you want to hit it straight.
Yeah.
We all go out to these courses down here, and it's grip and rip on a lot of them. If you can get an extra 15 yards, so what? But when you go up there to Hilton Head, and a lot of these guys, first time, I try to tell them, I'm like, look, man, this is target golf. You go out, you hit spots.
Exactly.
That's all you do here is hit spots. You hit in the middle and you hit spots. And so I'm interested to see. There's a few newcomers coming this year, but also I feel confident. I think as far as LA South, we're going to do pretty well this year. We got a few little regional winners in there and in the group, and so we'll see how it goes. But I can't wait.
So who are your regional winners?
Wally Bird just won French Lick.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I interviewed him up there. That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
And Jared Chason won Vegas at Paiute.
Okay. How about that?
Yeah, that's 2 good showing by 2 of them for sure. You know?
Absolutely. So you're heading into your final tournament of the year this coming weekend. So that'll be over by the time this airs. But what would you say is some highlights of your year this year?
We've had some nice tournament with some playoffs. We've had some good playoffs this year. I'm gonna tell you, probably about 1 every 3 tournaments. It seems to be having. We've had 1, 2 playoffs, champ flight or A flight and C flight or B and D. We've had a good bit of playoffs through the year, which makes it exciting because everybody's there waiting. And then when they guys go out, they've got groups following. So it kind of pumps everybody up. That's a good thing. And the most thing for us is that we got through the year. We was a little bit down, as far as a few members this year, but it picked up with all the core group. Everybody was there every tournament. It's just we're a big family down here. We hang out when we don't hang out. It's just one of those things. And honestly, that's the reason I took the tour over when I did. The 4 years ago. I've got a job. I've got kids. I've got a lot of things on my plate, but also I enjoy the people that I was around in this tour, and I didn't want to see it go downhill. I wanted to kind of see it, stay where it was at least at minimum, if not grow it. And that's what we've been trying to do. But, it's just a big core of us that enjoy Hilton Head every year. And we play golf on the way up. So, it's a good reset for the year, from life.
Oh, yeah.
And especially going up there, for 9 days, we go let go and not a care in the world. And then we come back to reality and work our ass off for an extra week because we're behind. We're about a month behind when we get back from taking a week.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things. But I tell you what, that's all my guys. They play. We got a lot of camaraderie in our tour. We got a lot of trash talking, but it's all friendly. And there's not too many people on our tour that can talk bad about anybody else. Everybody's there to kind of help everyone out and enjoy ourselves because we all spend the money to go do this.
Right.
So like I tell everybody all the time, look, you could be having a bad day. Don't make the other 3 guys in the group have a bad day as well. We've all been there. So, and I think the way we've all been together for so many years, everybody holds everybody accountable.
Right.
So it's kind of a great thing that, it's a great thing to, like I say, be part of. And, my tour, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. There's some good people.
That's good to hear. But I do have a question for you because, Gina and Trey from North Louisiana, they fly out. So do you drive out or do you fly out?
We drive.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a group. We got 12 of us. We'll go to Kinderloo Forest. We're going to Kinderloo Forest over there in Valdosta. We'll play 36 on Saturday. And then we'll wake up Sunday, drive into Hilton Head. We'll play 18. I think we're going to play at Robert Trent. And then we turn around on Sunday. And, Sunday we play that morning. Sunday morning we drive to Hilton Head. We play that morning, then we go check in. And then we do our Ryder Cup, our Heritage Cup against Michigan.
Okay.
We do a practice round Monday, and then we're 36 on Tuesday, 18 on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we all say we're going to take a break, but we always find a foursome to get in. So go home. We start Nationals noodle-armed, like every other year.
Hey, I did that 1 year and never again. Never again. I have to take Thursday off because I want to at least try and swing a ball Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Well, I said I was going to take Thursday off this year, and we're going to see if I hold to it. But, I'm like a kid, man. I'm almost I'm a 47-year-old kid. It's like if I don't go, I'm going to miss out somehow on something. Right. Of some clowning around or some funny story that I'm not going to be part of. So I force myself to where I say I'm not going to go. And then when this truck starts, man, I'm jumping in the back.
I got to go.
Yeah.
Because the one time you don't go, that's going to be the one time that something happens and you're really going to miss it.
And I missed it. That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
I'll sleep one day.
So here's what you do. And hopefully these guys aren't listening, or hopefully they are and they catch on. But, the guy who doesn't go, you all just show up at the end and you just make up some random story of a alligator chasing you down fairway 15. And the guy's like, no, I missed it. And it's just a story that you guys keep going on all weekend.
The only problem is that whole group that I'm with, they're just like me. We'd be running in circles, man, where, each of us is following the next one. You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
We'd be running in circles. Nobody wants to miss nothing.
Well, JP, it's funny you mentioned Kinderloo Forest. Chris, you remember, last episode we had Donnie Thomas on, and he said what a good course that was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
that. I guess that tells you in of itself that they make that special trip out there to play that course. That's now, JP, I've never played it, but I've heard about it, and I've got one of my members who lives down that way. He wants us to do a tournament there. But it's too far from Atlanta. It's more in Donnie's neck of the woods, and so Donnie plays there every year.
It's beautiful. It's a real nice course. We played it 2 years ago, and we try to switch it up. And here and there, we'll go to different places. And but that's a good halfway point, pretty much for us. So it takes us 5.5 hours to get there, somewhere in there. So we kind of stopped there, reset. And this year, what we're going to do is Friday, we're going to go to Biloxi, I think, and play Fallen Oak Friday evening. And then we're going to get up Saturday morning, drive to Valdosta. And like I say, it's a 5.5 hour ride. And we go play golf. We're going to play probably 36. And then we'll turn around and probably go get a little dinner, get to bed, wake up and hit the road and play again when we get to Hilton Head.
There you go.
You see, you guys are talking about 5-hour drives being too long. I drive anywhere in any direction 5 hours, and I'm still not in another town. So I don't want to hear it.
Well, it's 12 hours for us, to be fair, to get there, 11 and a half. But I'm not driving out west. I go to Vegas every January for that regional. We got a group of us that go. And there's no way. And I got a brother-in-law who wants to hook up campers and go out west. I said, you done lost your mind. I'm not driving that. We can go out west anytime you want to, but there's plenty of airplanes that fly that way. There's no way I'm going to drag a camper for 20 hours. That ain't going to happen.
But JP, Jen and I are full-time RVers, right?
Yeah.
And one year, right after national championship, we were trading our rig in, and we were trading it in Phoenix. So we hopped in and drove from Hilton Head out to Phoenix and back. And
Jesus.
Yeah. And we did that in a week. It was bad. I mean, I was never again.
Years ago, when I was probably 19 or 20 years old, I worked in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I drove from New Orleans to there. It was 23 and a half hours, I think is what it was, and we drove straight through nonstop there. And then when we left, we drove back. And I tell you what, that was rough. Me and my wife swapping and sleeping and all that, man. And she can't sleep when I drive or when anybody drives. So it's like she catches, you know what. So I said, I'll never take a trip like that again, not driving. Now, if I had an RV or something where we could stop a few times every other state or something and chill for a day or so, I can get with that, but no, not to straight through them. Well, I can't. We go to Indiana and she makes me get a hotel room before we get to Nashville. So she just costs me extra money when we go anywhere over 4 or 5 hours. So it's cheaper to fly.
So JP, what's the best course that you all play in on your regular rotation?
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
Oh man. One we didn't have this year that we enjoy a good bit is English Turn there in New Orleans, where the tour used to play years ago. Coshada's a real nice tournament over there. It's in Tamaka Trails.
Yep.
Is probably in the last couple years has done they took a lot of bunkers out of there because they had to hand rake every bunker. So they was kind of, you couldn't keep that going. So they was losing, so they went and redone it, and they took I would say probably close to 80 bunkers out of that place and made it where the equipment can get in and rake them now. And Matt, you could tell they got more time to spend on the course instead of raking bunkers. And man, that thing's came alive. It's beautiful. The greens are great. We got so many nice tracks, man, kind of decent tracks around here but I would say Coshada's probably one of my favorite courses. But English Turn's right there with it. And next year I'm working with TPC to try to get TPC Louisiana on it.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully that'll come through.
Yeah, that'd be a good get right there.
Yeah, definitely. And if I could get some kind of can get a relationship started with them, then that's a possibility later on to maybe even hosting a regional there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's it's a good spot. People can get there easily. It's a lot of excitement in that area. New Orleans, you got everything you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus you got the course. So hopefully that'll be something in the future. And then you can't forget about Dancing Rabbit.
Dancing Rabbit.
That's
Dancing Rabbit. Mm-hmm.
That's a little gym in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful course. We got the oaks and the azaleas. The azaleas is kind of mimicked off of Augusta a little bit. Some stone creeks going through the fairway and different things like that. It's definitely a very nice track.
Yeah, I haven't been out to that one, but I've heard real good things about it. So
we had our regional there this year, and no, I'm sorry, it was at Old Waverly. And like I say, we've got Old Waverly. You can't go wrong with either in Mossy Oak. We played that as a regional this year. Me and Jason from Mississippi, tour director Boykins.
Yep.
So we've got some nice tracks. I enjoy them, and especially around the coast. Jason's got a good bit of nice tracks as well because of the casinos and a few other things keep them very, very nice. But the favorite one probably I would say would be I would say Coshada would probably, or Tamaka would be one of my two favorites on this track, or on our schedule this year.
Awesome. Well, JP, thanks so much for spending some time with us tonight, and good luck tonight. I know you're going to go home full and hopefully not broke, and we'll see you here, here in a couple of weeks.
All right. Thanks for having me, fellas. And remember, go LA South, baby. We coming to Hilton Head, so y'all get ready.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Have a good one.
Tim, another great interview with another tour director. It's just great to start having these guys on, and ladies, have them on and get to know them, and have, our whole Golf Week membership get to know these new directors, or these directors in general, so that in case they do travel, they know who their point of contact is and who they're going to see.
Yeah, exactly. We've had some of his players on, obviously, the winners of the regionals, but we've had some of his other players on, periodically. But it's good to have, a tour director come on and talk about things from the tour's perspective, the courses and things that they're doing to get players out to national championship and, other things like that. Building that camaraderie, like you says, they travel together, they hang out together, when, not during tour events, just like, a lot of the other tours, but having that come from the tour director itself is really kind of shows the culture of each individual tour.
Yeah, for sure. It's just great to see, and best of luck of them in their event against Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully their arms don't fall off, and they can, then their backs don't hurt, so but by the time Sunday national championship, they can still turn and hit the ball.
Right. It's a daunting task for anybody if you're trying to do that.
Yeah. So speaking of, you didn't get my junk when you sent that text to me the other night, trying to get on Higgs Point. So
I didn't.
Ask Siri. I mean, she's the only one that knows anything.
Well, I mean, I got great news.
Yeah.
I got on.
Good.
So it's gonna be a fun little trip back and forth. I'll give you more details when we're at the directors meeting, because I'm super excited. And all it took was a phone call.
Good. When are you playing that, Thursday or Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Okay,
early
good.
morning.
Okay. Well, good luck.
What do you mean good luck?
Early morning. I mean, I know who's going with you, and that's why I'm saying good luck. I mean, getting those guys up and getting moving and actually getting on the boat and getting out there.
Oh, I'm getting on the boat. Whether they're with me or not, that's
All right.
on them. I'll be there.
Okay.
Me and my wife will both be on that boat, and if they're in the car with us, great. If not, sorry, Charlie.
Well, enjoy. It's supposed to be really nice out there. I've never been.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you got to go early in the morning so you can get back. We've got directors meeting that night, and we're live Wednesday night too.
We're live Wednesday night. We're live Thursday night.
And this?
Shoot, we might go live Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll play it by ear.
Yeah,
no, not Sunday.
Happens.
Not Sunday.
No, I'm not doing anything Sunday. Sunday we're busy Sunday.
You're not wrong.
We're busy, but we do need to talk about Wednesday night we go on after the tour directors award ceremony, so there's no time for that. I mean, we start when they end.
Right.
Well, you and I do need to probably
and we're
talk.
not staying on as long as we did last year either.
No, because I didn't get any cheesecake last year.
We didn't get any dinner last year.
Have you seen me? Do I need dinner? I need cheesecake.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, but we do need to decide what time we're going on Thursday, and you and I should talk about it, and we'll put that out. We'll put that out in the next episode so everybody's aware.
Yes, and when we are on there, come say hi when you come check in early. Get your welcome package. Come say hi. We'd like to shake everybody's hand and get as many people on as we can in a decent time frame.
Absolutely. I do have to thank all of our listeners again. We got a really good question from Jeff Pond from the Columbus tour a little over a week ago, and you and I have been going back and forth on it, and we've kind of gone back and forth with Dennis on a little bit as well. And let me pull up what the actual question was. That way we can read it and everybody can have some understanding to what he's talking about. I've been in B flight all year, 13 tournaments, and just took over first place with one tournament left. I shot 79 and moved to A. What's your opinion to lose all B points and basically be shut out for player of the year? I've not played in any tournaments as an A player. I agree I should play the last tournament as an A. Should I skip the last tournament? Number one, Jeff, do not skip the tournament. Go out and play. I mean, that's part of, at least my philosophy is you go out and you play and the chips fall where the chips fall. When you score what you score and you move up. And first and foremost, congratulations on being moved from B flight to A flight.
Right. But that's the main thing. It means that you're getting better. You're playing better. And you're playing the best you can regardless of what happens. And unfortunately, where the chips fell, they may not have been in your favor as far as points race is concerned. But that's a line that every player goes through when they're close to getting to that new handicap level. And if you stop playing, you're going to lose points and you're not going to have a chance. If you keep playing the best you can, it means you're getting better. And that, in my opinion, that's a win in itself. Because, I've told you guys before, especially in this episode, my goal is to get to A, eventually champ. And if I don't challenge myself then, I'm never going to get there.
Yeah. And we definitely understand the frustration of losing the points and being bumped up. It happens every year. It happens every year to at least from my perspective, happens every year to at least one person in in one of my flights every year, right? So
Right.
it doesn't really matter. And I get the frustration. It's a hard issue to solve. You have to be bumped up, so you're no longer in that flight. And trust me, we've had these discussions on a regular basis. As tour directors, with the national office on a regular basis, on ongoing regular basis. So it's not like we just made a decision here and let it go. We're always trying to find ways to make the player experience the best that it can be. And in this scenario, there really isn't a good option.
Right. And I mean, look, you have to put the other shoe on as well, and understand if you were the guy in, let's say, A flight that's been leading all year, and you've been playing A flight all year, and then a guy who gets bumped up at the end of the season takes his points race away because he had more points in B flight than you did in A flight. I mean, how's he going to feel at that point? Knowing he's been working his tail off in the flight all year, and somebody that just got bumped up takes it away from him. So I mean, it's a lose-lose on both sides. But I would personally say, take it as a win that you're getting better, that you're playing better, and ultimately it's going to be a new challenge to hopefully you can succeed in this new flight.
And know that us as tour directors are continually talking to find ways to improve on what we're doing and make things better. I just don't know that this is one that there really can be any change. I mean, obviously we talked about it, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's tough, and Tim, I mean, the tour's been around for 30 years, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't perfect at the beginning. Some people might think it's not perfect now, but at least we can say we're having these conversations, and eventually something will come out. I mean, we've had these. I've been a director for 7 years, and I know we've had so many conversations that we've seen progress in different areas, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it's the trial and error that we're doing to make this tour the best for everybody.
Absolutely. And the majority of these changes that are coming through are actually originate, from you all as players and come up through tour directors.
Right.
Then they're brought to tour directors across the country, through the national office, to see what the consensus is. So there's ongoing conversations, and we're obviously open to making changes to make things better. We pretty much make changes to something every year, right, Chris?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do, and most of the time it works out. So we appreciate you asking these questions. We encourage anybody else that listens to definitely send us questions, because that's how those conversations start. And if you keep them to yourself and always wonder and guess what's going to happen, we can't start these conversations. And next thing you know, you're going to be upset about it for years, but yet nobody knows what's going on. The only way we can get better as a tour is by our members, telling us how we can get better or giving us suggestions.
So keep it up, and Jeff, hopefully we'll see you in Hilton Head in a couple weeks. Come by, sit down, have a talk with us. Love to have that chat.
Definitely, I'm not opposed to it.
And Chris, we did something we hadn't done before. Just a few days ago, did the Facebook Live with the seeding of our shirt contest of our 8 monthly winners.
Right.
I thought the response to it was great.
It was great. There was some people on the back end that weren't happy with us for a couple of times. But I mean, just like our first podcast episode, it's a work in progress. It was fun. I mean, I'm already looking forward to next year's seedings and see what we get and go from there. But voting's out. We've already gone through, as this episode comes out, we've already gone through round 1. So congratulations to those winners. There's some blowouts, and then there's some tight races. If you weren't paying attention, you missed out. But voting for round 2 is up, and get your votes in, because I know they all need it, and we want you all to help us decide who is or who had the best shirt of the year.
Right, and don't just vote for one of the contests. I mean, you could vote for somebody in each of the each of the head-to-head matchups. Chris, that's one thing that I don't know if you looked at it some of the head-to-head matchups, people weren't voting in all of them. They were only voting in maybe one or two of them.
Right. Go get in there and look at all of them and give them all a vote.
Yeah.
Because your vote counts.
It does. This is one place where your vote counts.
We're not going there. We're not going there.
There's everybody only gets one vote for a head-to-head matchup for sure. There's no bribery going on. And
they
this
tried.
Is really important stuff. This is really important stuff right here.
Right. They tried to do bribery with getting strokes taken away, and I don't know how that's working out, but can't have that around here. It's not going to happen all the time.
Well, yeah, we appreciate everybody's support on that, and hopefully you've enjoyed it throughout the season. And we will have a winner here in just a couple of weeks.
Yes, and losing a little weight here, but I can't wait to see if I get a shirt. We're going to have them on the welcome show for sure, regardless of who it is. They better be there.
Yeah, they got to show up. That's part of, it's kind of like Miss America. You win and you've got duties.
Yep. Whether you like it or not, you have appointments you need to make to, and we expect you there
with the shirt on,
or you won't get checked in. How about that?
See what happens?
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is fun. So we're both wrapping up our seasons this coming weekend. Give me a wrap up of your thoughts on your season in El Paso.
It was fast. I think it was fast. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing everybody out there again. I enjoyed meeting all the new members we got. We got a good handful of new members that really loved it. People bringing guests. Courses were always in great shape. I enjoyed traveling and hanging out with you for a couple events and having those stories that we'll have. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was quicker than I thought. And like you said, as we scroll down and do registrations for each tournament, and as you get to that bottom of that list, you're like, man, this season's already over with. And where did it go? So we're at that point now. Got my tour final coming up, 2-day event, and then rest, recover, and on the nationals. How about you?
Well, before I get to that, you brought up the whole idea of traveling together, and it was great. And I've been given some inside information. We're going to have a good time next year.
I like to hear that.
I'm just going to put it there.
All right.
I'll just leave it at that.
You're.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. I mean, the last time you did this to me, ended up being what we had this year. So if it's anything like that, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
So we'll leave that there. But wrap up for us here in Atlanta. Again, went by very, very fast. It's almost like you snap your fingers and it's over. For me, things are a little bit different. Because I don't really live in Atlanta anymore. So when we do these tournaments and I go in and I see the guys, it's tournament day is the best day of the week.
Right.
Because I'm seeing them, before when I lived in Atlanta, I saw them a lot more, and tournament days were still fun. It was still great. But when you roll up on Saturday or roll up on Sunday and you get everything set up and guys start coming in, that is truly the best, the best day of the week. And it goes by so quick, you don't even think about it. You hang out with these guys. Now the season's over. You'll see them in a couple of weeks in national championship. And then
that's it for you until the next season.
3 months.
Yeah.
I
can see that.
You in El Paso, you see your guys. For
the most part.
On a regular basis, right?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, some guys, yes, but we'll keep in contact, and like Jordan sends me memes at least like 10 times a day. It's worse than some people I know, but yeah, you have the group that you're always staying in contact with, and then you have the other group where they may not be from El Paso, Las Cruces. They may be from Truth or Consequence that we talked about, or Albuquerque, or we have guys from Alpine. Billy's from Alpine. He comes and drives 3 hours. We got people from Odessa, Midland that come out and play. So it's nice to see them every week. And like you said, tournament day is a fun day to be able to see all these people and get to catch up and see how everyone's doing. So I can understand that, but with you, it is different because you aren't there except for one day out of, or 2 days out of the month, whatever it may be.
And you celebrate wins, right? And a win may not be just a tournament win. A win could be somebody's first birdie. A win could be, getting moved up. A win could be a career round.
Right.
All those things that are wrapped into tournament days, it's what makes it, again, the best day of the week. And then you got to take 3 months off.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, as a director, when we're doing awards, and the guy has a career round, the next C flighter, your D flight champion, Joe Schmo, and getting everybody riled up for that is fun because, they, like you said, they have a career round or they shoot great, or it comes down to a 3-hole playoff and they win with a 30-foot putt that happens to hit the back of the cup and fall in. Those are the fun times.
Exactly. It's been a great year. If take away some of the struggles, right? Some of the struggles with getting courses and some of the things that we haven't had to deal with before this year, and it's still a great year.
Right.
It was still just as fun as any other year. It was still the highs of giving out awards, seeing the winners. We had a hole-in-one. And I think we had 4 regional winners this year, most we've ever had. We just Atlanta. We had a really good year.
That's awesome. But we'll get ready for nationals because that's going to be fun in itself.
Absolutely. But we got to get more El Paso guys out.
I'm working on it. It's hard.
It's not like it's a quick trip over.
Yeah, it's not a 5-hour drive from Louisiana like some people, or a walk down the main road for Tim.
It's a big trip, right? I mean, it is. What we have to do is get them to understand how much fun it could be, especially, how much fun it could be if you bring your family, or how much fun it could be if you don't bring your family. You know what I'm saying, though, right?
I understand.
I'm not saying one way or the other. I mean, it's just National Championship Week is probably one of the best weeks of the year because of the fun, because of everybody that's around, because of the competition. It's Hilton Head in October is a great time to be here. Great weather, good courses. You've been here.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I mean, from the first time I went, I knew I had to come back every year, regardless of whether I was a director or not, just because of how much fun it is. I mean, but it's, you make it a trip. I mean, me and my brother have done it where we've flown into Charlotte and driven down and played a couple courses before we got to Hilton Head, or flown into Florida and played Sawgrass and then drove up 3 hours to get to Hilton Head, or Savannah, play a course there. Like, there's so many different options you can take if you make it a guy's trip, to play some courses that you probably would never play that are bucket list courses, and still have a great time during the tournament. I mean, even then, it's a flight of maybe 150, 200 people just in your flight, not at the course itself. And what are your goals? I mean, my goal is to make the money at least, but first goal is play the better course of the 2 on day 3. That's goal number 1. And then if you're on that course, then you have a really good shot at making the money. Because there can only be one winner, but there's 30 guys that make it into the prize pool. So those are my personal goals, and I think I've accomplished it all but 1 year when I got moved up to B flight, right before nationals. But it's still fun. And at the end of the day, you play golf, you have a great lunch at the headquarters, and then you have the whole afternoon to go hang out or try this seafood restaurant, or go check out this
Right.
beach, or you name it.
Go to Pop's Candy Store.
I've already told my wife. She's got it on the list, and we're gonna make it happen.
Well, one of my goals for you is to have you interview yourself on Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I would really love that, honestly. But that I don't know how that would work, but that'd be pretty cool. I might have to pull you off the mic. Dennis, hold off on A-Flight real quick. I don't know how much you'd appreciate that.
But we'll do what we got to do. And the good thing is your wife's coming this year?
Yes, she is. She's super excited. She's going to get to meet a lot of people, and she's a little nervous, but we'll make it have a good time.
Yeah, tell her don't be nervous. Nothing to be nervous about.
Right. I tell her all the time, but she does what she does. Nothing I can do about that.
I understand. All right, my friend. Good luck this weekend. Finish it off with a bang, and we'll talk to you soon.
Definitely. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how the rest of this shirt contest unfolds, and then rest for a couple weeks and head out to nationals.
Sounds good, bud. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, partner. Be safe.
All right. Bye-bye. Chris, we didn't do it again.
What didn't we do?
We didn't say how to join the tour.
That's right. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tours membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.